Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Jaya Gurudeva Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol Sri Radha Govinda Jeev ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Guru Parampara ki Jai Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna Prabhu, nice to see you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
I'm glad to see you. I haven't seen you for some time.
I was in Florida for 3 months.
Where?
In D-Land. I just came back to New York this week.
Oh, why didn't you call me? It's only a couple hours from here.
Yeah, I was thinking to go, but there was no one to take me to Alachua.
But you have my number. Purnachandra Prabhu, he lives here, no? Sometime?
Yes, but whenever he went, he had something, so.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm glad you are here for 3 months. Next time you come, let me know, please.
Okay, Prabhu. So, Prabhu will wait for 1 to 2 more minutes. We'll wait people to join in. I just send the reminder again. And then you can go on till 7:45, and then we'll have question answers if there are questions.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
maybe in the meantime, you can put a one verse for me will be good. 11.25.27. Bhagavatam.
11.25.27.
Yes.
This is Satviki Adhyatmika Shraddha.
Yes. Sattiki Adhyatmiki Shraddha Karma Shraddha Asurajasa. This is you have to memorize also. This is a key verse for faith. So you are still in Dilan or you are in New York now?
No, I came back to New York. Just 1 minute. Yes, Prabhu, you can start.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So this is we are serving. Today discussion is about faith. And so I choose this verse to start with, just to say where origin of the faith. So in this verse, we see Sattiki Adhyatmiki Saddha Karma Saddha Surajasa. Maybe we can repeat 3 times. Sattiki Adhyatmiki Saddha Karma Saddha Turajase Tamasya Dharme Ja Shraddha Mat Sevayam Tu Nirgunam. Sattiki Adhyatmiki Shraddha Karma Saddha Turajase Tamasya dharmeja shraddha matsevayam tu nirgunam. Sattiki adhyatmiki shraddha karma shraddha tu rajasi. Tamasya dharmeja shraddha matsevayam tu nirgunam. Sattiki adhyatmiki shraddha karma shraddha tu rajasi. Tamasya dharmeja shraddha matsevayam tu nirgunam. So translation, faith directed towards spiritual life is in the mood of goodness. Faith rooted in fruitive work is in the mood of passion. Faith residing in irreligious activities is in the mood of ignorance. But faith in my devotional service is purely transcendental. All right, you can close that now. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanta Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatari Pancha Kalpa Taruvescha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama. First of all, Srila Prabhupada, in the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, he says that basic principle of living is to love. No one can live without loving someone. And in the primary stage, we see that how we grow up of loving our mother, father, brother, sister, then the family, then the community, then the country, then the whole humanity. But the loving propensity is not satisfied even by loving all human society. So that loving propensity remains imperfectly fulfilled until we know who the Supreme Beloved is. So in other words, Prabhupada repeated this again, That love can become all embracing only when we understand Krishna is the supreme beloved. How do we approach Krishna? How do we awake a love for the Lord and engage in devotional service? We need faith in the word of Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. Faith is the most important factor in the development of Krishna consciousness. It is said that the process of Krishna consciousness is essentially about developing faith. The very common Prabhupada chant that mantra, Jasya Deve Parabhakti Jata Deve Tatha Guru. Tashreta Katita Yartha Prakasante Mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, Guru, are all the import of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. How to do bhakti, how to approach the Lord. So this verse, the Lord is giving a wonderful explanation to Uddhava that originally every soul has a faith. Faith is not something we have to earn or get it from somewhere. Faith is eternally within us. That's called Nirgun Shraddha. But then when we come down to this material world, that faith, origin faith, divided into three. Those who like spiritual life, religious people in this world, they are into Sattik faith or goodness, faith in the mode of goodness. Those who believe working hard, making life success, they are faith in the mode of passion. And those does irreligious activity, their faith in the mode of ignorance. But faith in devotional service is the original faith. And when we re-engage, then we will awake. So then question comes, what is faith? Well, this ISKCON, Krishna consciousness movement, started from faith. Foundation of our movement is Srila Prabhupada's faith. And Bhagavad Gita, I was looking at 2.41. Srila Prabhupada asked us to be faithful to the spiritual master. Whatever he says, Prabhupada writes, I take it as my life and soul, not so interested in my salvation, but interested in the words of my Guru. Whatever I will be successful, whether I'll be successful or not, I'll have a faith in the words of my Guru. So Srila Prabhupada defines faith as an unflinching trust in something sublime. But faith can be flickering or firm. Those who perform devotional service with material desire and motivation have flickering faith. So each of us has to examine our own faith. Do I have a material desire? Then it will be flickering. That's why beginner in devotional service may not may not be familiar with devotional techniques and may become distracted by materialistic pursuit and conception. However, If they keep on going, we should encourage and inspire them. Such flickering faith in Krishna consciousness can become firm by following an authorized process under the guidance of experienced devotee. And this is what Lord Krishna tells to Uddhava and also to Arjuna. That if we sincerely, patiently, enthusiastically, with full conviction, try to follow the regulated spiritual practice, sadhana, given by the acharyas, he will give us intelligence and purity necessary to advance in devotional service. If one is fortunate enough to get the association of devotees connected with Lord Krishna, one may become inspired to hear from them. And this inspiration will create the enthusiasm to follow the process of Krishna consciousness and to achieve higher state of consciousness and happiness. So by applying the techniques of devotional activities and attitude, one learns to prayerfully chant the holy name of the Lord with attention and devotional feelings. This brings one to the stage of spontaneous or raga bhakti or raganuga bhakti, you can call. And eventually, as qualified devotee, progress from stages of taste, ruchi, to attachment, ashakti, to the awakening of intense devotional feeling appropriate to a particular eternal spiritual identity. He or she achieves the ability to experience the spiritual atmosphere. This is nectar of devotion, Rupa Goswami Pada explains. Then, through increased purification, development of spiritual desire, mercy received, one comes in direct contact with the Supreme Lord. At that stage, one understands the science of Krishna consciousness perfectly. And any doubts one might previously have or had will be seen as a bewilderment only, ignorance caused by the Lord's illusory energy. In this way, progressive faith in Krishna consciousness depends on our interest in reawakening our consciousness of Lord Krishna and on our sincerity in following an authorized process that helps us achieve that goal. Now you may ask that question, what are we to be faithful to? In Bhagavad Gita 4:10, you can see Lord Krishna says that a soul surrender, the soul that under the spell of condition of illusory energy, Srila Prabhupada in the middle of the purport you can see, develops three misconceptions. The first misconception is that there is nothing beyond material energy. I'm sure if you examine your heart, you definitely thought sometime in the beginning stage, everybody thought like that. That beyond this material nature, nothing exists. So first misconception is that there is nothing beyond the material nature. That therefore the soul is also a product of the material energy. Consequently, existence is limited to the experience of the material energy and sense gratification. Then Prabhupada writes, the second misconception is that through whatever form personality expresses itself, it will always be contaminated by material qualities. Therefore, even if there is a soul that survives the annihilation of the material body, its existence remains miserable. And then Prabhupada writes, third misconception is that there is no higher experience beyond the sense gratification. Since sense gratification is meaningless, frustrating, existence itself must ultimately be meaningless too. However, one who develops transcendental knowledge, awareness through following the process of devotional service, first comes to understand the difference between the material body and the self. First theoretically, but later through direct perception. After that, one develops faith in dynamic spiritual existence of perpetual knowledge and bliss, as opposed to the mirage-like reflection of material experience. And I would say, finally, by surrender, purified consciousness, and service with devotion, one becomes personal associate of the Supreme Lord. Very wonderful purport. You can read Bhagavad Gita 4.10. Now I have a question. Why have faith? I'm sure you also thought that. We came to do bhakti. Why have faith? Well, you can read the Bhagavad Gita purport 17.28. We need ultimate happiness in the service. But that prema bhakti and the faith are the same substance. One is the beginner and the prema bhakti is the mature stage of same faith. In Bhagavatam also I found 2.6.34 that Vyasdev says, Brahmaji said, O Narada, because I have caught hold of the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, with great zeal, whatever I say never proved to have been false, nor is the progress of my mind ever deterred, nor any my senses ever degraded by temporary attachment to matter. Now, one Mataji, in visiting Alachua, Mata Narayani, she said something one time. You all know, very senior devotee, very nice devotee. She said, she heard Prabhupada said, if you get up early morning, 10, 16 rounds, after 12 years, whatever you say will be true. Now don't count on me, that's she said, you can ask her. Whatever you plan to do, Krishna, it will happen. Devotional service began with the service to the devotee. How do we get faith? That question may rise. By serving the servant of Krishna. And in the beginning, Bhagavatam 1.2.16, in the purport Prabhupada writes, by serving the servant of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants. Thus one becomes qualified to hear the glories of the God. So if you associate with the devotee who are more advanced, then you will get the faith. And if you associate with the devotee who are less advanced, your faith may go down too. So you have to be very careful. Faith is created by the association of the devotees. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, many places purport I found, Lord Krishna suggests that we approach realized, experienced person, that we submissively inquire from them to learn the science of devotional service. So if we sincerely try to assimilate and clearly understand their instruction and follow them with determination, not becoming deviated by material conception or impulses, the Supreme Lord will be pleased with us and will gradually reveal himself. Thus, by doing gradual process of pure devotional service, performed under guidance, our dormant Krishna consciousness will be awakened. And all our doubts, the cause of neglect of spiritual life, what are the doubts? The neglecting spiritual life, fear of having spiritual identity, as Prabhupada said, 3 things, and frustration arising from having no positive will be fully satisfying goals in life. And will gradually diminish those three doubts, and ultimately they will be vanished. Then question also arises, how to strengthen the faith we have? How do we strengthen? Well, you have to read and hear Srimad Bhagavatam more. Srinnata Sadhyanitam Grinantasya Sachestitam Kalena Navati Dhirgana Bhagavan Vishati Ridhi. Three things you need to serve Bhagavatam every day. You have to hear it attentively. Attentively hearing, it is not possible, Prabhupada said, unless your lifestyle is sattvic. If you have a rajasic lifestyle or not a sattvic lifestyle, it will be difficult to pay attention. It is not something artificial like I'm sitting here and I can hear it. No, I have to have a ahara suddha, satta suddha, dhruva smiti smiti labdhi sarva grantinam moksha labdha. Must have a food that offered to God. You cannot eat just anything and you think that you will be able to put attention in holy name and hearing Bhagavatam. So this is required. Then Srinata Sadhyanitam, and you have to do it every day. Grinantasya, and you have to apply, accept it and apply it. When you apply Srimad Bhagavatam, that will strengthen your bhakti, your faith. And the most important, always be grateful to the spiritual master and senior devotee, especially to Krishna also. Gratitude does not only mean saying thank you. You need to respond to Krishna through reciprocation. Find gratitude when difficulty comes. I literally, I'm telling you, Prabhus and mothers, if you ever have difficulties, write 10 items in your paper why you are grateful to the Lord. And you'll see the difficulties almost disappears. It's so powerful, practical. I did that, and I also encourage other devotees to do that, and they did. See the result. Why you are grateful to Prabhupada, why you are grateful to Krishna, Mahaprabhu, like that. Then question may also come, how do we pass the test of faith? Prabhupada said, we pass the test by understanding I am meant for giving service to Krishna. And despite all obstacles, continue to do my service and never stop. Whether you're sick or not sick, you can chant. I forgot the devotee's name in Russia, who was tortured by KGB so much. He was one of the devotees, was unbelievably tortured. Mother Mandakini's husband. What's his name? Anyway, so they even put him under the stool buckets for him to stop chanting. Finally, of course, they failed. KGB failed. And he told, I remember I met him in 80s, came to Vrindavan, and we went one time for vacation, we met in Vrindavan. He said in one sitting under a tree, that was very nice. He said, while you have a good tongue, because they used to put an injection in his tongue every day so he cannot chant. They don't want to kill, they want to see that how powerful this mantra is. He said, while you have a good clear tongue, please pay attention and chant, take advantage and chant all the time. It was so hard. It took whole day for him to finish 16 rounds because he cannot move his tongue. It was such a torture. But today we have over a few 100,000 Russian devotees in Russia. But originally he was one of the pioneers. There was only 2 devotees and he's one of them, the Prabhupada initiated. So this is very wonderful that don't stop chanting. Does not matter how you feel or whatever you're going through. Don't give up. This is the most important. Then question you may also think, how is benefits just by serving pure devotee? What are the benefits? As you said, the main source of faith comes from the pure devotee. Well, if you serve pure devotee, Prabhupada and all so many senior devotees in our movement, if you serve them sincerely, you will get all the imports of Vedic knowledge if you have a faith in Guru and Krishna. Prabhupada also said that by the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, in that verse 1.5.39, I believe, that I was endowed first with the transcendental knowledge. Narad Muni very nicely explained how important the association of devotees. Then all my doubts gone. These are one by one result comes. You can get completely freedom from doubt if you serve the Vaishnavas very nicely. In Madhya Lila 17.80, here explanation given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that by the mercy of Guru, even a dumb man can become greatest orator. You all know that verse. Mukham karati vachalam pangulangayati grim jat kripatam ham bande si guru dimkari. Jagatga Maharaj uttered this in every class. I remember in early days, he used to utter every class. And if you know some pastimes, your own life, how faith worked, always remember, those are wonderful. I give you an example. There was one old lady, Mataji, she's still alive, and she used to come. She was not a devotee yet, but she was like coming to temple. But she would come by the bus. And bus driver, out of compassion, instead of dropping her in a designated spot, he would actually take her near the temple and drop her and then come back. Generally, public bus don't do that, but the driver was very nice. So one day there was a new driver who does not care all this. He just does his duty. And then she walked 2 miles, old lady, and came to the temple. So then they asked, oh, today you are walking. Generally you are dropped here. Said, yes. So how did you come? He said, well, you guys said in the class that Krishna helps. He's in my heart. And he was telling me to go right, left, this way, and I just came there. It was like a reality in our time. And that lady was so simple-hearted, like a little child of God, even though she is over 70 years. She said she just got guided automatically because there is just so many turns in between, left turn, right turn, to come to this place. So like this, you can see even a simple-hearted, if you really have a strong faith, is the good foundation to progress in spiritual path. Until we come to a steady ruchi stage, you may not have a strong foundation to sustain in bhakti. Because ruchi stage is very convincing. You feel self-motivated. You can keep on going. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kadambini very nicely explained that on our own, it is difficult to sustain to maintain the faith because our heart is always burning. You can feel the heat. What is burning with? Burning with searching for my own interest. That is called lust. Searching for my own happiness. Not so much interested to serve Guru Krishna, please Guru Krishna. Always searching for my own interest. And for that reason, the heart is like a desert. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave a very nice. He said, actually, heart is like a field. If somehow or other, with your strong faith, you can evoke the mercy of Mahaprabhu, this is necessary. Before Mahaprabhu, nobody awakened their pure love for Krishna. It takes million life. But by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, one life you can do that. And it says that by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, he shower nectar. It's called Kadambini. Kadambini means showering nectar, Madhurja Kadambini. And when he shower nectars, then your heart becomes fertile ground. When it becomes fertile ground and you get the bhakti beach, then you ever wonder in the devotee community when somebody is very loving, you notice. If somebody is very kind, you notice. If somebody always happy, you notice. If somebody is always like peaceful, you notice. Those are actually rightful claim for all of us. Heart's supposed to be a beautiful garden. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur very nicely explained. Our heart, each of our heart, supposed to be a beautiful garden where different kind of flower means different quality, divine quality manifest, kindness, mercy, all these 26 qualities that we think, everything is there. But our heart is desert right now. It requires shower, rain to make it fertile ground. So our in the beginning faith is to get the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And then it will take place. And you like it. You love it so much. In the beginning, in case of bhakti, like one, I remember seeing this memory, one journalist asked Prabhupada, what are you doing? And Prabhupada then answered, oh, we are chanting Hare Krishna. And then the journalist says, why you are chanting Hare Krishna? Can you imagine what Prabhupada answered? He says, so that we can love to chant more Hare Krishna. What? So we are chanting to chant more. There is no question why we are chanting Hare Krishna, because it is the goal in itself. The process is transcendental because the means and the goal are non-different. Now, if you want to be happy, did anybody ever ask why you want to be happy? Why do I want to be happy? Nobody asked them, but everybody looked for it because its goal in itself. So bhakti is like this. To get this condition of consciousness, you can only get it by adapting bhakti. Bhakta sanjayate bhakta. This is Mahaprabhu's view, that it's coming from bhakti. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took this Maha Mantra from his own heart. He impregnated this holy name with prema, love of Godhead, and he invested this holy name in the hearts of his followers. In this way, it was going on heart to heart, heart to heart. This is what Parampara ISKCON is all about. And Srila Prabhupada used to quote this verse, Brahmanda Brahmite Kuno Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. That we have to become fortunate by the association of senior sincere devotee who has bhakti in their heart. What is the good fortune? You may ask that question. Generally, we think this unprecedented fortune prize, which you get by getting the seed of bhakti, ultimately, bhakti is coming from only bhakti within the heart of a devotee. That is only source of bhakti. There is no other source of bhakti. You can get bhakti only from the heart of the devotee. You can nourish your own bhakti only by being in touch with the heart of the devotee. And we see here now in our ISKCON, these disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they get bhakti from each other. His complete dedication, endeavor, Srila Prabhupada's bhakti, which was so visible in his time, so strong, created bhakti in their hearts. And they are spreading them around now. If we want to nourish our bhakti, we have to be in touch with Srila Prabhupada's disciples. We have to continue to be in touch with the heart of Srila Prabhupada. And in the form of reading his books, in the form of spreading his mission, his society, distributing his books, serving his followers, the devotees, and chanting the holy name, which is also coming from the heart of Lord Chaitanya. So this is very important. Today's topic was that faith is a bridge between our finite reason and Krishna's infinite reason. Yes, this I got this from the verse Bhagavad Gita 4.39. Shraddhavali lavate genam tatparas samjata indriya genam labdha param santim chirena adhigacchati. In that conception, what we understand that some people ask, can a rational person believe in God? We could turn the question actually around and ask, why should we be rational? Why does reason works? Why should there be a rational order in the functioning of nature? If as materialism would have us believe nature has resulted from unguided process acting on fundamental particles, why should it feature a rational order? You can look around. When science investigates nature, it does so with the faith that nature has a rational order. Every day we hear, today there will be rain or won't be rain. It seems like all are rational. What explains this faith? The most reasonable explanation is that nature reflects a divine intelligence. And Bhagavad Gita 9.10 states that material nature works under the supervision of the ultimate reality, Krishna. Maya dakshana prakriti shwetesha characharam. Krishna claimed that this material nature works under him, his order. So consider what science does when it cannot discern the order in a particular natural phenomenon. It still perseveres in its quest for order with the faith that some deeper order may be uncovered by further research. We need a similar faith when we cannot make sense of why things happen in a particular way. Why? Say, bad things sometimes happen to good people, everybody say in America. You can hear this, like it's like a slogan. By remembering that our reason is finite, whereas Krishna's reason is infinite. We can acknowledge that our reason may not always fathom his reason. Does this mean we reject our reason? Not at all. No. As Krishna has given us our reason, we are meant to use it in a mood of service to him, to understand things as much as possible. But when we cannot understand, we need the faith that it has a plan and a purpose. With such faith, this is very important. When we stick to our God-given purpose of serving Him, we eventually discern His sublime plan for our ultimate well-being. And this is what Bhagavad Gita indicates. The faith, remember this, faith opens the door to knowledge. Thus, faith bridges the gap between our finite reason and Krishna's infinite reason. Recently, one devotee asked, for someone with a hard-knock childhood who is still struggling to have faith, do you have any advice? I say, well, forgiveness is the first step according to Bhishmadev. And see what lesson you learn before difficulty to help you progress in your spiritual life. Generally, sometimes we think how one regain one's faith in a senior Vaishnava who has somehow disappointed, left the movement or whatever, some bad experience, either through one's own conditioning or whatever reason. We all should do this and it works. I personally did. I also tell the devotee in Alachar to do that. First, you write it down about any senior devotee that disappointed you. How did that person help me in spiritual life? First, you examine that. First, you write it. How did they keep me steady? What did I learn from them? These are the questions you need to. Then you will never commit offense to the senior devotee, even if they did something wrong. Does faith initially come from previous pious activity? Well, our scripture says 90% of our advancement depends on association. Nectar of Devotion Rupa Goswami Pad says, Sadhu Sangha Sato Bore. If there aren't many devotees where you live, you feel you don't belong to the devotee community, how do you stay inspired? Well, we have Zoom classes right now. You have internet, so many ways you can get connected. You cannot have some ways, oh, I don't have enough association. There is so many lectures, so many ways right now Krishna is providing. So, importance of Sadhu Sangha, I have spoken enough. I hope you can take some information with you. But there is a one warning I remember of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He says, I sometimes think, and it helps me a lot. He said, with time, we will be overcome by great devastation and deterioration. The world is deteriorating at very rapid pace, especially with COVID. Those who do not cultivate spiritual technology, Prabhus and mothers, will become casualties on this planet. Will have to be recycled. Recycle, birth, death, old age, disease, again take birth. Now we have the chance to get our lives together. This opportunity is a luxury. It is not to be available for very long, because death can come any moment. Already based on our consciousness, the demigods are arranging your near future, next life, what is going to happen. Karmana doiva netrena janturdeho upapatti. Do not put off your chance to work on certain bad habits for later, because you will not have time for that. And I'm serious. Do not put off living higher principles because you feel the circumstances are not sufficient right now. If you are blessed with higher knowledge and you do not use it, it means you are self-centered and unappreciative. refusing to apply Krishna's blessings in your own life and neglecting to assist others, you are considered a saboteur of a higher consciousness. So I request you all have faith, have successful life. One of the basic difference between God and human is God gives and forgives, but the human gets and forgets. We should be thankful in life. And faith is such a vast subject matter you can discuss forever. And this is our eternal. I remember one quotation of Srila Prabhupada. I'll end with this. Srila Prabhupada said, faith in Krishna consciousness is attained by chanting the holy name. Very interestingly. Lord Krishna to Arjuna, Srila Prabhupada said, in this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. One who has achieved this enjoys the self within himself in due course of time. A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge, who subdues his senses quickly, attains the supreme spiritual peace. Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. See what Prabhupada said. Wonderful, the way Prabhupada said it. One is called a faithful man. So you can examine right now. Am I faithful? Are you faithful? Well, this is the formula Prabhupada said. One is called faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleans one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna, who controls the senses, can easily attain perfection in this knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Gaur Pramanande. Hari Hari. Any question, comment, reflection, Prabhus and mothers? Suman Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, there are two questions in the chat box. I'll read it out for you.
Okay.
The first question is from Mahagopi Mataji. How to deal with unavoidable people in our family and job who has less faith? How to forgive and forget them and inspire them in Krishna consciousness? Can we be able to do our prescribed duty and elevate in bhakti at the same time? This is a question.
Very nice. This is a wonderful question. Actually, it is not the question only from her, it's a question from everybody. In our life, we do face that difficulties. Whether it's a family member or closest friend or relatives or co-worker or somebody, even in the temple sometimes. Yes, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, what is in the microform in the heart it manifests in a macro form outside. So there is something need to be corrected inside the heart. Even though I cannot see it, I think the problem is outside, not inside. In that case, if somebody, that example I gave once, it's a true story of one temple in America. I won't say too much about it, then you will probably keep on asking who it is. This devotee told me that when new bhakta came and was staying in the ashram, he would keep the doorknob always wet. And as a senior devotee, mentioned to the new bhakta, why can't you wipe your hand? You know, the doorknob, it's cold. I don't like to touch the wet doorknob. Generally, you don't do in your house, I'm sure, most of you. I mean, all of you, I think. But some or other, that devotee is not changing or is humble. He says, yes, yes, I'm sorry. But does it again. The doorknob is always like wet. So senior devotee, was thinking like, okay, this must be something I need to learn. So he's praying to the Lord. And after a few days, he is once a week, he wakes up the deities. And he went to the altar. It was cold, very cold. And when he does the achman and he takes up the, put the flute back to Krishna, touch Krishna's body, feet here, there. And his wet hand is everywhere. And then all of a sudden it occurred, oh my God, I'm doing this to Krishna. It's cold for him too. How come I didn't even care? I did this for a whole month. Every time I wake up the deity, I'm putting the wet hand all over his body, his finger, putting the flute. I should have wiped my hand. So I apologized to Lord Krishna and sincerely say, thank you, my Lord. I'm so sorry. It was funny. He never spoke to the new bhakta, but new bhakta never made doorknob wet ever after that. Now, I'm not saying that the problem what you're facing there is actually within you, but that's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. We can pray for them. We can pray for them and create an atmosphere where they will actually pay more attention and support your devotion and will be also inspired themselves to participate. But if we ignore and run away, we are not going anywhere. We are carrying that. Bhavananda Maharaj, well, when he was a Maharaj in Prabhupada's time, they are in a morning walk in Mayapur, and there was some place within our campus. There was a boundary wall, and then the side, some open toilet is like a smell, very bad. People just passed through, they did not have a good. And so Prabhupada is walking by, and Prabhupada says, what is this? Oh, Prabhupada, that's not that's those Bengalis. Prabhupada said, but you tolerate. That means it is within you too. And Prabhupada gave a very good lesson. You don't run away. You fix that. You fix the problem. If you tolerate the ignorance, means ignorance within me too. We don't tolerate ignorance, but we don't chastise the person that he goes away from purifying. We have to do a process where that person actually will uplift themselves by your help from Tamagun to Rajagun to Sattvagun. So it requires some dedication. It requires some meditation. It begins everything with prayers. We pray for those relatives and friends, whoever is opposed or not opposed. And then eventually Krishna will guide how to go further. We should not escape from the problem. We should purify the problem. That's Vaishnavism. And at the end, it will be wonderful result. You will be surprised. Mother, you will let us know how it went. I hope that helps her.
Prabhu, the second question is from iPad. I don't know who iPad is. Some devotees claim that chanting Harinam can eradicate all their sins, but still they criticize and insult other devotees. They claim to have bhakti by reciting Shastra, but treat other devotees very cruelly. These devotees use their status like they're Brahman initiated and show no shame in being harsh with other devotees. How can we strengthen our faith and nourish our bhakti if we associate with this kind of devotees?
Well, very interesting. First of all, there's a few questions together in one question. In Harinam Chintamani Bhaktivedanta Thakur explained that two things when it's visible in a devotee's heart. One is Doina. My Lord, I am on my own is useless. It is the mercy of Guru that engaging me to serve. I am coming from such a bad background, such a horrible desire and all this sense gratification. But the mercy of Vaishnava, so when someone has this Daina mood, humility, and second, Krishna Ika Saranam, that Prabhu, without your mercy, without chanting holy name, I have no other shelter. I don't want any other shelter. You are my only shelter. Any devotee has these two quality. When they are progressing, even if there is a bad elements or bad incident or bad character, something found in them, because they have these two quality, Krishna pays attention. At that time, their chanting destroy all the, not chanting, when you say one holy name, destroy everything. What is that? What one holy name? Is it this Namakshara? Is a syllable, word, alphabet, H-A-R-E? No. It is at that stage when the devotee has these two quality, that time that utterance is the real call to the Lord. Under Guru's guidance, devoid of Namavas, Namoparad, and Bhavadan, that is pure name. So when devotee has this humility and full shelter of Guru Krishna, that time that chanting will purify, destroy. So if somebody is actually doing this, he will not criticize anyway. So that's not a question. Now, if somebody is not having these two quality, then we should help them how to come to that stage. Just because somebody is doing something wrong and I am pointing out they're wrong, I am also guilty of that. The best thing will be, what can I do to help those devotees come out of? Not that nobody join Krishna consciousness to criticize or do wrong thing. Everybody join with a good intention of advancing and pleasing Guru Krishna. I'm sure that's the original motive. Due to our contamination of previous all this impression that we are carrying life after life, and sometime as we progress, we water the bhakti, and then the weeds pops, and the weeds are visible. Sometimes weeds are more visible than the bhakti sprout. That doesn't mean the bhakti is gone. Bhakti is there, but that devotee, he should be a good gardener. Means he should be very careful with the proper association and guidance of Guru. He will become a gardener. Eventually, he will root out all the unwanted things like criticizing, not paying attention properly, chanting. All these are weeds. Now, weeds only comes when you are chanting properly. When you are watering, Did you ever experience when you water a small plant, the other weeds automatically grows? And if you don't water, the weeds never goes. So weeds popping means they were sincere, but maybe the weeds took over, the original plant may be covered. In that case, the higher association is required to root out the weeds. And if you can see they have the weeds, then you are the best candidate. Come and help. Pray to the Lord and come and help them. That's why probably Krishna is inspiring you, Prabhu, or Mother, whoever that iPad Prabhu or Mother is. Krishna probably inspiring you that you can see that what they are lacking, they are not a good gardener, whoever he or she, then Krishna is inspiring you to go and help. And we're supposed to serve the other Vaishnavas. This is the opportunity. Now the third part of the long question, many questions together. Association does not mean, association means that you're thinking, feeling, willing, that you are attached with them. You don't be attached to the wrong conception or offensive nature. But association also has another part. It's called affection. Like Vidura. Vidura was with Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana. He was living in the same house. But he had an affection for Dhritarashtra. Even though Dhritarashtra was not a good devotee, he was inimical to the Pandavas. Duryodhana, they were inimical. Even Dhritarashtra, he supported the children, sons. But Vidura was associating with them, but he was not taking association. He had affection for them. He ultimately, Prabhupada said that by his mercy, Dhritarashtra got liberated. So we can associate with those devotees if we are living in the same house or same temple, or I don't know what the circumstances here, but we can have an affection for the soul, not for their ultimate needs. If you have an affection, then you are Vaishnava. Attachment means you are attached to their quality. If you don't like those qualities, inimic, what is called detrimental to the devotional service, then you don't attach to those qualities. You pray to remove those qualities, but you have to have an affection. If we run away from every devotee that has a bad quality, we may not find anybody. You will be by yourself, then what? How are you going to progress? Who will inspire you to chant? Sometime, out of our, I remember, out of our self-centeredness, leave me alone. Are Baba, if somebody really leave you alone for whole life, will you like it? Ask yourself. No. Even if some devotee has some problem, you come up, Krishna is inspiring you to purify them. You find a way or bring a senior devotees in their life to help them. This is necessary. ISKCON is moving because of that. Cooperation. Cooperation is hard, it's not easy. But Krishna said to Prachetas, 10 brothers, that what attracted me amongst all 10 brothers, that you have a beautiful cooperation. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is the mood of ISKCON devotees. There has to be cooperation. In principle, we all agree, Krishna is Supreme Lord, we are eternal servant, our duty is to serve him. But in the middle, Maya plays some kind of a dirty things. It's not really her fault, it's like we are carrying impression from so many lives. So like this, we can help each other by reminding of pure Krishna consciousness and go forward. And if it is too much for tolerate, we don't say that you just have to stay. Prayers, sincere prayers. I'll pray for you too, Mr. and or Prabhu or Mata iPad. I'll pray for you. And you also pray sincerely, and Krishna reciprocate. Believe me, he does reciprocate. But be careful what you pray. Don't pray for any bad thing for any devotees. Pray for always their well-wishing. It's the best thing. Because if you pray something bad, you have to go there to witness. That means you have to take a birth again, or in this life you will be put into situation to experience that bad quality. You don't want to do that. We have to be very intelligent, not to pray ever anything bad for anybody. Only good devotional. Then you will experience all those good devotional qualities. I hope that helps.
So, Prabhu, iPad is answering. Thank you, Prabhu, but I cannot purify these devotees if they are not pure themselves. I associate with them for guidance and compassion, but if they can't help me, then how can I learn from them?
When Vidura had a problem, he is a very good example. You can read about his life in Bhagavatam. We are reading right now in Alachua, that's why I'm mentioning this. He was trying to give a good advice to Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra says, how do you say my children are demon? So demon means they are against devotees. So my children are not against the devotees. Yes, they are against the Pandavas. They are the devotee of Krishna. They are against Krishna's plan. So they are demons. You are associating with them, even though they are your children. And Duryodhan, other side of the palace, listening the whole thing. And he came out so angered. He said, you eat in our place, you sleep here, everything. And you have audacity to criticize and telling us as a demon. And then he called out, can somebody be here and throw him outside, beat him to death. Vidura raised his hand, he said, thank you, wonderful. He's very happy. He said, glory to Duryodhan. You are so wonderful person. Krishna is very kind to me. Now you may say, wait a minute, they were ready to kill him and he's saying, thank you, Krishna, for doing. Why? Because whenever you see Maya, Maya is like a shadow. Shadow coming from a person who is Jogomaya. Jogomaya is also there, otherwise not possible. Your shadow cannot exist separately from you. So whenever you see the challenges, there is the other side is positive. Vidura felt, I wanted to go to visit all the holy places and chant and sing the glory of Krishna to the innocent public. I never got a chance. Duryodhan just gave me the chance because I had a loyal responsibility to take care of Dhritarashtra and suggest them. He's telling me, get out. He's going to kill me. He said, you don't have to do anything. I am getting out automatically. He saw a golden opportunity. Whenever there is obstacle comes, there is a golden opportunity opening another door. Every end has a new beginning. This is important. And Vidura saw golden opportunity. That was Jogamaya. In the middle of this huge humiliation where they are ready to kill him. So in your situation, I'm sure it's not worse than Vidura's. I'm sure. And you act on a fundamental identity, not functional identity. Fundamental identity means identify yourself as a servant of Srila Prabhupada, who is a servant of Lord Sri Krishna. That identity, function on that identity should be above your other identity. You have a social friendship, you have a job, you have a whatever you are doing involved. Then you will find the solution is there. and a very good solution. Maybe Krishna wants to purify them through you. Be an instrument. It's opportunity. Take advantage of it. This is just my suggestion, and I see it works always. I hope that helps, Suman Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining today's class, and thank you, Prabhu, for your lecture as well as wonderful answers to the questions asked. So meet you next week, probably at the same time. Look forward for the details. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Jaya Krishna.